Ready to go. Got it.
All right. Preparing the live stream for everybody. Sorting through the technological stuff. All right. Hopefully we are. It looks like we're live. So we're going to assume that we're live. Preparing the live stream for everybody. Wild stuff is happening in the cosmos. Let me come back here to us. Okay. Sorry that we're a little bit late, folks. I really feel awkward blaming things, technological things on Mercury retrograde, because I feel like it's so overly used, but that legit was the thing today, having some internet issues and some technological snafus that were happening on both my end and Madelaine's right as we were coming on. So I was definitely the bigger holdup though. So apologies for anyone who was waiting. But here we are, we're ready to go. We have Scorpio, full moon, eclipse energy vibes. I've got the flower cards from Lotus Way, bringing that in. Madelaine's going to bring in all the astrological goodness. And we're going to be talking about the way that this eclipse season is shedding light on shadows and completion energy for this full moon. So we have full moons are completion, but they're also culminations. They also will shine light on areas that we need a little bit of extra attention towards. Scorpio is very deep and shadowy. We're looking at the hidden, tucked away little nooks and crannies of ourselves. And I have Scorpio as my ascendant. So I am noticing this about myself, where in my life, the aspects of myself that I'm kind of aware of that maybe I don't prefer to see are in my face, like right here. Like I can't avoid them. Saying, hey, pay attention, do something differently this time. So I had a situation. I'm gonna just share this with everyone. I don't know why, but I'm feeling called to share this because I feel like it may shine a light on some of this energy. So there was an event that I participated in today in Fort Lauderdale called Heal the Planet, an awesome nonprofit organization that really does a lot to enhance the community here and to be very aware of how we engage with our planet, how we engage with Earth, and how we can do things to support her and live our life in a more holistic way. Awesome group. And I talked about animal messengers and animal allies and the spirits of animals that show up in our life to support us and to guide us, and ones that have been with us for a whole life, some that pop in and out depending on what we need. And I don't know if anyone pays attention to the weather news. I don't pay attention to the news at all, but I have people that do who tell me when crazy stuff happens. And apparently there was a tornado here in Palm Beach Gardens, not far from where I live. That's fairly unusual for this part of the world. There was a water spout, which is basically like a water tornado right outside on my beach last week. So wacky weather happening around here. And the event was all outdoors. And this morning I was talking to a soul sister of mine, and she was saying, oh, there's this whole string of storms that are coming through up and down the coast. And I'm thinking, I don't want to drive all the way there. It's a good distance from me, be in the rain for no one to show up. And then what? Like, then I walk away with nothing. And I said, listen, there's huge storms. I don't think I'm going to make it. In the end, I'm trying to cut this long story short. The skies cleared. And I'm like, I can't not go now that it's not, because it was a torrential downpour, thunder, lightning. Trees were sideways, rain was coming down. I mean, it was crazy weather. And then it cleared up. I'm like, I just need to go. So, and I thought I would be late. I don't know what happened, but what normally would be a 35, 40-minute drive, I made it there in like 20 minutes. I have no idea how that happened. Smooth sailing, every green light, like you name it, it worked out. And the other crazy thing is there was an accident on 95 that happened, but they got the cars off the road. So there was clear travel, and it didn't hold me up at all. And after I left, my guy said to me, he was like, babe, are you okay? Because he said it's pouring again. So basically I left, I got on the road and I was in a little pocket of clear weather all the way down.
Wow, interesting.
Smooth traffic all the way down. And I feel like it was because I listened to my inner guidance. Like, even though I had already told the people I'm not coming, which I felt at peace with, but then not at peace with. And then the other lesson was I needed to check the weather myself instead of listening to someone else say, oh, there's a whole big band of storms. I needed to see for myself. She doesn't know where I was going to be. She doesn't know the details. And so it reminded me that I have the power of choice. I need to also, in addition to listening to my instinct, I need to also check and make sure that every decision that I'm making is backed up by facts. And that if it's aligned, it all will work out. Like the way everything just so smoothly happened. So I share that story just to illustrate how in our lives, we may make a decision, then change our mind, and then change our mind again. And it's okay. Like it really is okay. But we've got to check in with ourselves and ensure that we're lined up with our soul's experience, our soul's messages, our soul wisdom. And I feel like that ties so well into Scorpio full moon eclipse.
Yes, interesting story. I agree with that. I mean, one of the things that I do, well, we're getting some nice hot weather here. As soon as the moon went into Leo, the temperatures warmed up. But in Vedic, Jupiter is in the high degrees of Pisces. So that's usually when big planets are in the higher degrees of Pisces, the weather is pretty Neptunian, which is rainy and foggy and snowy and can't see and all that. Okay. So that might be the contributing factor, but it's funny because I check the weather. That's the only news I do check. I check weather news. I'm like, when is the sun coming out? But anyway, we've been getting a heat wave up here in Pacific Northwest. So it's finally, because it's been very rainy for the last months.
Yeah. So
anyway,
let's talk Scorpio eclipse. It's a partial. Is it partial? As I say that, I don't know if that's true.
This is a full moon lunar eclipse. So
is it a I feel like it's an annular. Is it a hybrid?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Most people are not concerned, but it's happening at 1:34 p.m. Eastern, which would be
10 a.m. 10:30
a.m. Pacific.
It might be earlier. I did check and I just forgot, but I have it here. Let me see. I've got the chart up here.
Okay. You want to?
It's going to be at about 10 a.m. So, because I'm hitting the chart right now, because I can't do the time on this, but it's some people say this is the time it's happening. So it could be at 11:57 a.m. because I mean, look, right here at 11:57 a.m., the moon is at 15 degrees 44 and the sun is at 15 degrees, but it's basically happening Pacific Standard Time around 11:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So according to the
you probably
the app
know.
that I use, it's 1:34 p.m. Eastern, which would be 10:34 a.m. Pacific.
Perfect.
Which is right in alignment with what you're saying.
Yep. Good. Interesting eclipse, and the thing I want to remind everybody is that not everybody feels the eclipse is the same degree, depending on your planets, depending on where it aspects. I don't have that. I have no planets I have Neptune in Scorpio. I don't have any significant planets. So these Scorpio Taurian eclipses do not impact me as strong as others. So just a reminder I mean, and this, by the way, is the last Scorpio eclipse. We're going to have the nodes, because usually the eclipses occur wherever the nodes are. The nodes have been in Taurus and Scorpio. North node Taurus, south node Scorpio. This is a south node eclipse, which means we are furthering the journey of releasing things. And when it's Scorpio, it's going to be something that is toxic. It's going to be obsessive. It's going to not have been good for you. Could have been. Scorpio is the energy of the death card in tarot. It's the 8th house in astrology. It's Pluto. It's all about death and rebirth. It's about the death of something that is decaying, that is turning into toxicity, that is no longer alive and vibrant and active. If you think about Taurus, it's the most fertile. It's the dirt. Things are growing. it's new, it's fresh, it's nature, it's spring. And then we have Scorpio, which is the compost, which is the undersoil, which is the underworld, the dark world, the area where light hasn't been. There's no light. And so it gets, you know, shall we say, I want to say fermented, but like it starts to decay and cave in on itself. And so what happens in a Scorpio eclipse, or in the energy of Scorpio, it is to get down there and dig out that toxicity, that sort of stagnant energies that are no longer, that need to be moved on from it, that are weight. It's like old, dead, rotten fruit at the bottom of your backpack. You got to get it out of there if you're on a hike. You can't eat it. So, so that's basically the energy that these eclipses are going to be bringing. Now, so that can be around money. Scorpio can often represent the 8th house. Well, it does represent the 8th house, which is other people's finances. And the reason money is 8th house is because debt is in the 8th house. It's like the embarrassing, it's the ugly side of us that we keep a secret. Nobody likes to reveal their financial status. Scorpio is the hidden, it's what's hidden. So we're going to see, so when you discover like a hidden thing in your attic or in your closet, you open it up and it's got bugs in it and it's decayed and you pull it out and it falls apart. So it's like we're doing that. We're going in there and we're, like you were saying, you know, deep, looking at yourself and looking at your part of you that is decayed, that's no longer, it's your old, in the tarot cards, the death card, you're shedding an old skin, you're shedding a part of you that is no longer you, it's no longer part of who you are. You've grown. Pluto is about that. Without the Pluto, without these transits, we're stagnant, we're stuck, and we don't even know why. The journey of astrology and tarot, and just like you were saying, it's like the real message of tarot and astrology and the origins of all philosophies, including the tree of life, they are about the dance between the inner and the outer, always. That is our journey here, is how to balance our outer life with our inner life. But like you say, the real power is balancing our inner life and watching the outer life respond to that. So
Madelaine, are you do you want to, the reason I'm mentioning this is that the folks on YouTube are only seeing the chart, not seeing us. So if you want to keep talking, then we'll maybe stop sharing the chart or vice versa, just so that they have something more to look at.
Okay, you're right. Good point. I'm just going to quickly add a couple things to the chart and then we'll pop out of the chart. So I'll just do it really quick. So just to show the chart that we have a square. So we're going to be talking about the nodes and Mercury squaring Pluto. And then we've got these sextiles too. So we're going to and we've got a trine to Juno, which I don't know. We'll see if we talk about. We've always got so much to talk about. I'm going to take Juno out. So really what we're looking at is the sextiles, and then we've got the Mercury, Venus, Neptune square, and the square between Pluto and the nodes. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so that's it. That's all I wanted people to see.
Okay. Well, and just to also let people know too, is that anytime Madelaine's talking about squares or oppositions, there's tension in the energies. And when there's trines, that's a nicer energy. A sextile is a nicer energy. It's more harmonious.
And there's no trines on this eclipse. It's interesting. There's absolutely no trines, but there's a lot of sextiles. So what I find with how that looks to me is that there is going to be, because if this eclipse squares Pluto, if we have the node squaring Pluto during this eclipse while the sun and the moon are opposing, the sun is revealing what is healthy because it's in the sign of Taurus. So this full moon is revealing what is the better direction to go, what is more healthy, letting go of whatever Scorpio house is. We're going to be letting go of something that is toxic, that is no longer serving us, that is obsessive, that is us in the wrong direction. So this whole message I was saying about tarot and astrology is we're always going from our outer to inner. So we're going inner on the Scorpio eclipse. Lunar eclipses are about the inside solar, solar eclipse that we had, the new moon solar eclipse is about the outside. So we're really purging some sort of inner toxicity that is playing out negatively in our life. And so that Pluto, what's going to happen then with the Pluto squaring the nodes is we're going to discover that is the fear that's been holding us back from our true destiny, which is the nodes. So these eclipses are ending in the Taurus. We have one more Taurus eclipse coming up, or lunation, I'm not sure, where we're going to discover
October.
the healthier solution, the healthier new path, the fresh new growth. And we've shedded the old skin and now we're ready for something bigger. We're growing. So just getting back to that Pluto square, and it is in the sign of Aquarius. Don't forget, Pluto is going retrograde, and Mercury is also in retrograde, which is squaring the Pluto. So Mercury's going in retrograde. It's a wide Mercury square, but the sextiles, so the sextiles, we have the Mars sextiling the Sun and Mercury sextiling Saturn. So whatever happens during this eclipse, so if this eclipse has a crisis impact on you, the sextiles will show that something works out. So we're looking at a door closing and another door opening, a very easy flow, because sextiles are super flow easy. So somehow things open up. Anyone who's feeling like they're getting a direct impact from this eclipse, you're going to want to look at your sextiles that are happening and how those are aspecting your chart, because that's going to be your doorway through. And the solutions are there. So focus on the sextiles and you get through it easier. Just manage through the crisis, because the change, of course, during eclipse is supposed to happen. It is your new destiny. We are supposed to flow and go with it. There's no choice, basically. But this could be emotional, because we have Mars, the ruler of the eclipse, in the sign of Scorpio. Don't forget, we have Mercury in Gemini, although I think it might be going into Venus at that. Might be moving into Cancer. Nope, Venus is still in Gemini. So we've got Venus in Mercury sign, Mercury retrograde in Venus's sign, because Mercury's in Taurus, retrograding Pluto. So we're getting communication, contact from people from the past that were healthy, that are part of your future, that are good for you, squaring Pluto. Somehow the non-transformed self was unable to take that path. That is now, because Scorpio is an energy of transformation, we now become transformed and we become able to take the path that we had a deep resistance to because of the Pluto squaring the nodes. The sun is going to reveal in the sign of Taurus the healthy aspect of something that we were resisting from fear. So I hope that makes sense.
There's a lot of stuff. My mind is sorting it, and I know about most of what you were talking about. I feel like the main gist of everything that you just said could be summed up in the theme of change. That things are changing for everyone on some level. It's just if you have Scorpio, some Scorpio aspects, you're really going to be feeling that. Taurus.
And this moon lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, it's a full moon lunar eclipse.
Lunar, yeah.
Will indicate personal change within you.
Yeah.
But a crisis could occur that forces you to take that emotional change. As opposed to the last eclipse, where something happened on the outside of the world that we couldn't, something occurring on the outside of the world. Now we're having an emotional response to the eclipse changes, and we're releasing some deep issues and fear resistance to allowing. We're surrendering. It's like a surrender, letting some toxic go.
That connects in with the story that I shared at the beginning of the live. And it's that feeling inside of yourself, or like, oh, I'm not going to do this. And then, oh, yes, I am. And then following through and realizing how everything just opens up. Like you were talking about the doors opening, everything just opened. And it's, I was sharing today with some folks that were at the event, and we were talking about different challenges that were showing up in their lives for in different areas. And it's that sense within us that even though things feel really unstable or rocky or shaky, that if you can access that part of you that knows that even though you're feeling that, it's all going to be okay, and that you will find your way through. It's like, it's like knowing that this is giving us that pathway forward, and it's there for us. We just don't see it quite yet because of the eclipse. Creating a shadow.
Yeah, because we're in the gateway right now in between the two eclipses. So it's true, we're very much in limbo land and we don't know where we're going. A lot of people are experiencing like total surrender mode, because everything during eclipse period, we're in the mode of change. So it's like you say, we don't know what's happening, but Uranus is also in the picture, so we can feel a nervous energy around it. Mercury is pretty close to Uranus, but the changes that are occurring in these eclipses are aligning us with these new beginnings that we kind of know what they are, but we were resistant to them. So there's a good chance you're not fully clear on what it is, but the eclipse will make it clear. The eclipse will clarify the new beginning, because we're pulling something out by the roots. We're pulling something, we're pulling a stub out or something out that is not long-term for us. So it leaves a vacuum, it leaves a space that this now is going to get filled up. Yay. And you can't manipulate how that's going to be filled up. And so that's where people get nervous. So
yeah, it's the unknown, you know, whenever there's that some space that's unknown, we feel uncomfortable. And yeah, I know for myself, you know, there's a lot of unknowns in my face, in my field, in the moment. And you know, I've had a couple of friends remark, like, I don't know how you are like okay with all this. I'm like, I'm not okay. Yes, but I don't really have a choice, you know?
Right.
So, and I think we're all in that boat. You know, we all have unknowns. We all have crises. We all have stuff. Like you were saying too, the intensity you might feel might be a little more or a little less than somebody else, but there's change happening for all of us nonetheless. So do we want to jump into Aries and see what's going on? And unless there's something else you wanted to share specifically about the eclipse energy.
No, it's just, again, you know, these eclipses are realigning us to our true path. It's sort of the same message, except with this one, you know, it's basically so many things on my laptop. I cannot believe it. Here it is.
Well, while you sort through that, I'm going to remind everybody, if they don't know their sun, moon, or rising is also ascendant. There are links in the description below that you can go to these websites and put your birth information in. You need to know your birthday. Obviously, most people know that. Birth time and birthplace. If you don't know the exact time, you can pick a time and it'll give you at least the basics. Your exact time is important for a really accurate reading, but for today's purposes, that will likely suffice. And then that way you can listen into your sun, your moon, and your rising, and it'll give you a little bit of a story of how this eclipse energy may affect you, which is kind of cool and really helpful, I find. So
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, so Aries, you guys have Scorpio in your 8th house. So there is some kind of a debt or money or reliance on money from an outside source. You're letting go of a toxic source of income from an outside source. So for instance, let's say you were getting alimony. Now that alimony was a toxic connection. It was stopping you from stepping into your purpose or something. That's going to be gone. Or you're going to let go of maybe you sell a property, you let go of a mortgage that's really weighing you down. Or you let go of trying to create money from investments, they're not working. What else are we letting go of? Fears of debt. Maybe you decide to go ahead and get a debt. You're not afraid now and you have confidence, and your sun is in your 2nd house. So it's showing you a way to make money. So you're not afraid to take on a loan. You'll be able to pay it off. What else do we see with the 8th house? Potential passing away of a important person. Eclipses often, 8th house eclipses often can bring a passing of somebody significant in your life, but you will see a sign of that already. There will be indications of that by now. They're most likely on the way out. What else? Divorce could happen. You could finalize a divorce, release a relationship, release toxic sexual relationships. Maybe you have a habit of connecting with people on sexual energies rather than romantic, and so you're ending that. What else? With the sun in your 2nd, it's illuminating a new way for you to make money that is based on your own resources, that is based on your talent, that is based on something solid and healthier and progressive that you can control, that you have, that is a part of your growth. Let's see, that's kind of it. What'd they get? Can't hear you for some reason. Can't hear you. Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. What is so weird? Hello? You can hear me? Can you hear me now? I cannot hear you. Can you say something? I literally cannot hear you on no matter what I do. And that is so Mercury retrograde. It doesn't make any sense that I suddenly can't hear you. Like, yeah. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. Sorry, guys. I cannot hear. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, now I can hear you. Just does not make any sense. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Dang. Say something, Amalia.
Can you, Madelaine,
Now
how
I
about
can
now?
hear you. Now I
Okay,
can hear
awesome.
you. Okay,
Yay.
great. Gosh, darn. Can you say something again? Hello?
I'm
Okay,
here.
okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, good. I have no idea why that suddenly was.
So maybe that
okay.
was on my end. That could have been on my end.
Oh, okay. Okay, because suddenly I heard you then. Whatever you just did, I could hear you. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So sorry, folks.
Okay, sorry about that.
Sorry
I missed
about
all
that.
that flower for Aries, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, and just in case my volume was a problem, which it might have been, because I think my mic was muted. So I think that was totally me and my snafu.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's banana blossom, which is a very much an Aries type energy. We've got that fiery action, but this is a reminder to slow down. And I think the eclipse is also giving us that message of like, slow down, go within, take a look. You know, there's no hurry, there's no rush. It's all divine time. It's all the perfect order. That, you know, Aries can also have like that anxious energy that's always going within them because they're always feeling like they have to do something.
Yeah, because this is their ruling planet. It is a Mars eclipse.
Yeah.
But Mars isn't a water sign. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So it's just a reminder to slow down and to, you know, have a spaciousness in their mind and in their life. So banana blossom. So for those who are not familiar with this, there's a flower card for every sign, a little bit of energy to support. You can either use the flower, just take a screenshot of this, or you can order elixirs, sprays, or mist or serums with the discount code below. And or just, you know, sometimes you can purchase the flowers. Sometimes there's easy ones to find, and you can have some in there in your home as a reminder, or just close your eyes and visualize the flower for each of the signs that are connected to you. Okay, so Taurus.
All right, Taurus, you guys have this in your 7th house of relationships. So you're most likely letting go some kind of a toxic partnership, contracted arrangement, marriage, divorcing, you're letting something go. And or you're letting go of a toxic obsession of a person, or you're letting go of a financial co-partnership with finances, because 8th house Scorpio can be relationship stuff. This could be emotional. This could be a crisis type of a breakup, depending on where you are in the process of letting this go, because you've had the eclipses series going through your 7th house, all in the, you've had the south node there and a few eclipses there in the last 18 months. So you're basically really letting go of, a toxic relationship. And then we've got this, the nodes squaring Pluto, which is then when you let go of that relationship, you're then going to go your right true way. You're going to align better with the true destiny that's lining up for you, that you've resisted because you had a fear. You were too afraid to sort of step into that, so you kind of clung on to a relationship instead. So you're letting that go, and you're going to let your scary, more, shall we say, out of the comfort zone future open up for you. We're all kind of breaking out of comfort zone. This is the breaking out of comfort zone eclipse, where you're sort of stepping into this new path, and we're letting go of that thing that we're holding on to, that keeping us sturdy. So Scorpio are letting go of that thing, and they're really stepping into more self independence, letting go of most all toxic, shall we say, associations with what their survival. Scorpio is a survival energy. It's stepping out of survival mode more into thrival mode, taking more risks. Scorpio is a risk energy, taking risks, releasing. So it's kind of like a death and rebirth. It's like a total rebirth to your relationships, where you're no longer associating relationships as a survival thing, but you're associating relationships with more of a transformed place, which is to expand through and create better things. And then you have this sun on your first. So the sun is illuminating what your strengths are, giving you confidence to take the step out. Good. I think on the whole, this is a good eclipse. Actually, I think it's a very nice eclipse, because we're really clearing out the cobwebs and the things that are holding us back, that are toxic. So it's kind of clearing out the plumbing. It's cleaning out the pipes. Go ahead.
I totally feel that as well.
Oh,
Madelaine.
interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely one where, I think you may have even said these words too. It's like that letting go to break through and aligning with your destiny. And I am feeling that personally. I have a Taurus moon and a Scorpio ascendant. So I'm feeling both of the energies from those. And my ascendant is at 15 degrees. So it's very much a conjunction. So it's right there that's taking place. So the pink primrose is the flower for Tauruses. This activates rapid growth. So everything that you were talking about is so in alignment with this flower. It dissolves your fears, resistance, hesitancy, and holding back. And
wow,
Taurans as a whole tend to, we do make decisions based on security and on safety. And we will take risks, but calculated ones, not like Aries, where they'll jump in and just go for it. It's very different. So I feel like the pink primrose is a really fantastic flower. I will definitely be utilizing this in this moon cycle for sure. You can search this flower on Lotus Way's website, and you can see exactly what elixirs this particular flower is in, or get it as a singular flower essence, but really powerful. And I think this, along with whatever flower comes through for Scorpio, will be really great for everybody, regardless of your sign, because it's the energy of the eclipse season, or this eclipse season. So, yeah.
Cool flower for that, because I love how it just looks like it's expansion and breaking through, and it's great. It's breaking through a sort of toxic layer of dust or something.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, with all of the
it's like the soul is saying, because really, if you think about it, because Pluto represents the soul. So it's like the soul breaking through a crusty surface or cage that you put yourself into, that isn't, that you can't grow beyond. So, okay. So we're now headed to Gemini. So Gemini, you guys have Scorpio in your 6th house. So you want to watch out for health issues popping up. I do know a Gemini who is dealing with some health issues right now. So some kind of a toxicity of food or alcohol, or an addiction to something. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have an addictive issue. It can just be that you're starting more meditation, and you're letting go of stress. The sixth house is stressful ways of living, being busy, hurry. Maybe you're letting go of that and you're starting to enjoy the joie de vivre, the living life. I'm into that right now. I'm all about le joie de vivre. That's Americans are hardworking, and I love this country because we're all hardworking, and Americans, it has a great country for that, you know, because I've traveled the world and I grew up all over the world. But the Europeans know about that. One thing Americans tend to forget a little is the joie de vivre. So maybe
I
Scorpio,
totally agree with you, Madelaine. It's so true. It's like, it's all about working hard and getting it done here, which is great.
It's great.
And it's also important to balance. It's all about
yeah,
balance.
I mean, you gotta, because you start to feel empty and you start to go, well, what the heck is going to fill me up? And we start looking for all the wrong things. And really the things that fill us up is just a day-to-day joy of living. It's finding out how to live in a way that you enjoy, you know, that joie de vivre, the joy of life, which is sitting around having coffee and chatting with your friends, maybe wasting time.
Which is always fun. And actually, I want to say one thing really quickly for the people tuning in. If you all are any of the signs we've been talking about, or there's questions that you have, pop it into the chat. Because we will, I'm kind of toggling back and forth, so I will pop in when I can, and we'll answer any questions you have, or if you have any thoughts, feel free to share. I'd say talk about we learn from one another. So let's
anybody's got some today. Yeah, if anybody's going through a crisis, pop it out there. We'll help you through it. Well, we love to do that. Yeah. Okay. So for you guys, Gemini are really taking a health thing. The health is issue. The Geminis are mentally minded, busy. They running businesses, third house type of energy, busy. Scorpio in your sixth house means you can make yourself sick by not stopping and taking care of yourself, being too busy, not having meditative practices, not having spiritual practices, not grounding enough. Gemini, you need to ground. Very electric energy. Ground. You need to let go of something that is toxic in your day-to-day routine, in your habit, your diet, your living practices. The mind, we're releasing, because we have Mercury retrograde. We're becoming aware of our inner mind, our thinking. Always that happens in retrograde. Don't forget, people are coming in from the past and communicating with us, and relationships are reigniting. Relationships that are true soul-based relationships are coming through for everybody, because Scorpio is a relationship house as well. Energy, 8th house. So we're transforming resistance we had to our true divine partners. So that's a big thing happening as well. But for Gemini, you're really looking at surprising, because remember, this eclipse comes with surprises, because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is in your 12th house. So that could be a relationship coming through, a surprising relationship, because 12th house can be past life relationships or true past life husbands, our true other half. It's the Pluto square could be you ended a relationship because of you might have been addicted to them, and so it was toxic, and so you had to go into separation. And now the sun illuminates your 12th house, illuminates your true soul's desire, what your soul truly desires, what you want, what you love, who you love, and then you realize you needed purifying and some sort of addiction or some sort of obsessiveness that needed healing. All that's happening. The relationship comes through. So a lot of that's going to happen in everybody's charts, by the way, that if you have the planets aligned with that. But basically for Gemini, you're releasing toxic habits, day-to-day toxic habits, or you're dealing with a health issue. That could just be, it could just be in your hereditary. Could just be your soul family's hereditary. You've got heart issues in your family. You've got something will come up where you have to take care of it. Now the eclipse is going to help you do what you need to do so that you have more longevity, because Taurin is all about the long haul. We're gonna have all these planets in Taurus soon, which is all about creating new structures, starting this new project, starting the new foundations. So we're getting healthy, Gemini, for this. You're getting your strength back, as it were. And Mercury is in a good position, but it's in retrograde in your sign. So you're really thinking about somebody from your past, because you've got your sign in retrograde. You can't stop thinking about somebody or your past, or something's coming up that you have a toxic mental energy that you're processing, that you have to reprocess the right way now, which is in a non-toxic way. Sorry, go ahead.
I love what you're sharing, and I'm so excited to share this flower, because mountain laurel activates total comfort, i.e. relaxation, which is all about the joie de vivre, that just being with the people you love, or with yourself, or with animals, or with nature. And it dissolves that the mental suppression or that mental activation that Gemini tend to have, and magnifies mental freedom. So it so lines up with what you were talking about, with that, whatever it is that's happening within Gemini's lives, habit or health, it's really tuning into, again, that the joy that you have, because that's medicine right there. Like the saying, laughter is the best medicine. And it's also allowing some mental freedom and expansion. You know, I think, and what I love about this card is, if you look at it, it kind of reminds me of Gemini, because there's purples, but you've got all these different shades, and like the two halves. It's like the two sides of the mind for Gemini. There's this idea, and then that idea, and then they toggle back and forth a lot. And so this is just bringing in that expansion and that freedom in all ways. So you're not getting caught up over here or caught up over here.
Yeah, because Gemini have such a hard time making decisions. They're very mutable, changing their mind all the time. And that's interesting, because that purple is the 12th house. That is the color of the 12th house. It is the color of Neptune. So it's kind of interesting that you got a 12th house kind of color there. So that's kind of a focus on the 12th house for them. So I think they're really aligning with their soul. And then they're going to get over whatever toxic issues. This is a big eclipse, I think, for Gemini, because they're going to get over whatever toxic issue. They're going to realize that this person is their soul, or something was their soul. And then they're going to align to their right path, because that's going to overcome their true deep trauma issues. Remember, these crisis issues are deep past life trauma issues that we're clearing for this brand new era, this brand new beginning. We're really clearing all the karma. So that is a karmic house. So there's a karmic block, a karmic trauma block for Gemini that they process in their headspace, that's stopping them from either somebody they love or a destiny that is their true destiny. So that's what this eclipse is going to make them let go of: a toxic mind, toxic processing.
I love it. So fun. Okay.
Yes.
Cancer.
Oh, Cancer, you guys have Scorpio in your 5th house. Again, this is a relationship house for Cancer. So you're letting go of ending a toxic relationship, or an attachment to somebody who still being attached to is now turned into toxicity. Could be an ex-marriage, an ex-partner. So you're letting go of or could just be basic friendships. You could be letting go of a Scorpio friendship, or you are letting go of. So what's going to happen for Cancer is, this is a relationship situation. So they're going to let go of toxic processing around wounding, about trauma in relationships. Okay. Because Cancer have Scorpio. Wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, you're going to have some deep issues and deep trauma to clear. So you've got trauma clearing around relationships, or attachment to relationships that were toxic. Now, if you have no planets there, maybe not. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just you're letting go of toxic people pleasing or something, or trying to make friends in a toxic way, or trying to, but also the life of your child could completely change, because the 5th house is children. So you could have and I do see this happening in my child's life, because I looked at his chart. So I know my eclipse in my 5th house, I have Neptune there, which represents my Neptunian sun. And I have 2 sons there, and both their lives are radically changing right now. No doubt about it. I mean, their lives are completely changing. They're about to move states, everything. So Cancer rising, you can have something shift and change dramatically in the life of your child, or the way you're parenting your child. Maybe you're too much of an umbrella parent, because Cancer mamas, they're very, very mama. So you might be letting go of that, letting your children fly their own wings and letting them fly out of the nest a little. What else? So you're letting go of toxic relationships again. Now, the sun is illuminating your 11th house. You're about to have Jupiter in your 11th house. So the 11th house is a great house. So the sun is illuminating the person that is right for you. Now, 11th house in Vedic is later in life. Partnerships is the non-karmic, is the more divine mate. So Jupiter coming there, you're going to align with relationships that are right, new friends, lots of new, shall we say, tribe. You're going to align with your true tribe. What else? Again, potential partnership relationship happens now, the right one in these energies. Or if you're further, maybe you're new in this whole series and you're now starting a toxic relationship, which you will then end at a upcoming eclipse. but basically, we're letting go of toxic attachments to relationships, children, letting people, letting go, letting people be who they are, letting the relationship be. Stop trying to control it. You have Capricorn over your 7th house, stopping the controlling. Let's see what you got.
So it's funny, when I was shuffling the cards, a few of them fell out. I don't know if
No way, really.
I disappeared under my desk to retrieve them. And this one felt like the proper card for Cancer. It doesn't totally line up, at least that I see, with what you said, but I feel like it might indirectly.
Okay.
And it's a message for a Cancer out there. That I know for sure. And it's trumpet vine. This activates effortless speech, and the message is free your voice. So this dissolves blockages and self-limiting patterns regarding communication, which Mercury retrograde is happening right now. Enhances confidence. Enhances comfort with being seen and heard, while magnifying the ability to speak freely about what's inside of you. So I feel like Cancerians, they've got a lot of emotion, but it is hard to express sometimes. They put this, they have this, it's the sea crab. So you think about a sea crab that's like mushy gushy inside, hard exterior. They put on this front sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, like, I got this, I'm strong, I can handle it, you know, doesn't bother me, when really inside it does. So this is a reminder for Cancers to really be able to express the mushy gushy part of you and feel free to do that and not hold back as much. Just be able to speak from the heart more.
This is incredibly relevant, that card. You have no idea, because that is exactly what I started doing. And I think this is probably the case from all Cancers. I don't know that this is just for a specific Cancer person.
Okay.
Because this is exactly right, because we have Capricorn over the 7th house and Scorpio over the 5th. So we have attachment issues with relationships. So we don't speak the truth. We tend to speak in manipulative ways, or to hide our truth, or to not. So that is another energy of this eclipse. As truths are coming out, because Scorpio is all about the truth. Scorpio know liars. Scorpio are they can see through lies. So the truth is coming out, and that 100% is happening with me, with almost every sort of masculine in my life. My ex, my twin flame. I mean, I'm just like totally like just telling everybody, just like
this.
And my ex-husband, I set a boundary with my ex-husband. Like, it was just like, wow, I couldn't believe I did that, and it worked great. So that card really represents Cancers, because Cancers, remember, all control and fear-based attachments get the communication is how that plays out. So, so Mercury retrograde, we're now speaking a truth. A truth is coming out that we're no longer using to manipulate. And then you let go of resistance, and then the right relationship will stay when you are your truth.
Perfect. I mean, that sounds so easy, right? Yeah, everyone, let's just do it.
Well, the earth, this earthquake, this eclipse, the eclipse gives you the power to do it, because Scorpio is a very powerful, intense energy. There is a lot of intensity. And so this is stuff that if you don't get out, it's creating mold and toxicity in your center. So you've got to speak out the stuff. You've got to speak a truth. That's coming out for me in a situation. And then, so there's lots of situations that are showing up in Cancer's lives that they didn't speak through, because they thought it was better to not, because then it wouldn't upset their relationship.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
All right.
So it'll come bursting out whether you like it or not. So Leos, you guys have Scorpio. That's the thing, is this fuse is popping. It's a popper outer, because those gases build, and then pops the lid off. Okay, Scorpio, you guys, Leo have Scorpio over their 4th. Is it their 4th house? Why does that feel wrong? Scorpio, Leo, I guess so. Yeah, 5th and 4th. Okay, so you have 4th house. So we're letting go of a toxic living environment, a situation, a living environment that you're staying in that isn't really good for you, but you are having to stay in it because you have fear of survival. So you're attached to a certain location or a certain situation. You're going to have to let go. Now, remember, some of this is good stuff to let go of, like, letting go of situations that are toxic. You're like, yay, finally, But for Leo, most likely letting go of living like for instance, my Leo son might be moving. He has a career opportunity and he lives in an area, or his living situation it is a little bit confined. And I would think that it is a bit of a, shall we say, a situation where it's kind of moldy, or not, it's like a small room, like he needs to expand and bust out and grow and get into a better place, kind of an energy. So, yeah. So let's see, Taurus is in his 10th house of career. So there you go. So you've got a lot of planets, and you got Jupiter coming into your Taurus house in a month, in mid-May, and you're going to have a lot of expansion in your career. Really good for career for Leo. Fantastic. So it's that 10th and 4th house axis. So you're letting go of an attachment. Now remember, this is a risk energy, Scorpio. So we're letting go of something that stops us from taking a risk. So you may take a leap of faith and jump into something, get more in debt, buy another property, do something that, because you've got this Taurin, Jupiter, you can take the risk, because this is why astrology is so great, because you can take informed risks. You can take calculated risks, because you know, if you have Jupiter in your 10th house, guaranteed your career is about to expand. You know, your career is going to go great. So you can go ahead and take a risk and upgrade your living situation and pay a little more rent or mortgage.
Madelaine's talking to me.
Yeah, literally talking to Amalia right now. So whatever fear is holding you back from taking a risk on your finances, on your property, your real estate. And it's interesting because my son may invest in a piece of property now, actually speaking. But you are very strong career, guys, very strong for Leo. And potentially a career project from the past coming forward. Again, because we've got that Mercury retrograde, a situation that you had fear, mental blockage, fear around Scorpio was too risky, was too out of your comfort zone, couldn't believe it, or triggered a trauma, past life issue of insecurity. Now you become illuminated. You now have faith in it. You now can trust it. You have confidence in this new step, in this new career. So yeah, you're letting go of a security in your family, even, or a security in a situation. Like for instance, let's say you're living in a property and it's comfortable, but it's, you know, it takes a lot of effort to make the change, or it's scary, but you now do it. So see what card comes out for you, Amalia.
Well, it's funny today. One of the key themes for folks that I was talking to at this event earlier was about playfulness and laughter. And we brought this up earlier about laughter as being the best
Joie de
medicine.
vivre. Yeah.
Joie de vivre. And also for Leos, as a Leo sun, you know, we don't really have too much trouble being fun and playful, and, you know,
yeah, you are the
often,
Joie de vivre people.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, you're the flag flyer of the Joie de vivre.
Yes. But we can also get caught up in this, in the fun, the fiery fun of it all, you know, the sun, where it's like everything, it's so bright sometimes that we get lost in it, and we forget to be as free. How do I want, I have a loss of words here because I can feel it for myself, but I'm having trouble articulating it. It's this sort of like free form fun where there's not, it's not about attention. It's not about, because Leo's like attention. We do, you know, we like to be the center of attention. And this is different. This is about the fun for the sake of it, the fun for just having fun. And the pink spirea activates laughter, and the message is let your inner child play. So for all my fellow Leos out there, play for the sake of playing. Have fun because you want to, not because there's another ulterior motive or there's some attempt to get attention. It's about you just being with you. It's about you just playing and having a good time and enjoying, because that is what's going to lead you down the path with your career. That is what's going to put you in front of the people that you need to be put in front of. And that's what's going to really light you up inside and align you with where your destiny lies. So
yeah, well, yeah. I'm having an interesting thought, because this eclipse squares Leo. It squares your 7th and your 1st, because it's going to be in the 10th, and it's a cardinal eclipse. So it's an angular house. So it is going to make a pretty big shift in your life. But the interesting thing is that the toxicity the Leos are letting go of is the toxicity that stops them from being a child, because the freeform child, because Leo literally represents the ignited sun God in you, that you literally channel the energy of God and light other people up. Or the sun, like in ancient times, they believed the sun to be God. So now you become what God does, which is to ignite life. And so the Leos are going to start shining and get past whatever karmic scorpionic obsessiveness, being which then frees you, because that's stopping you from being in the joy.
Wow, Madelaine, that's powerful right there.
Yeah.
I'm popping over to see if any other Leos are talking. No one's chiming in. Folks, chime in. We got Leos in the house. Let's hear from you. We want to know. Yeah, like how does that feel? Because the other thing too is this dissolves old wounds of the heart. It dissolves sadness or loneliness. It dissolves undervaluing or squelching your inner child. And I know that for me personally, I do that all the time. I don't mean to. I don't want to.
It's a big force in you that is too scary to let happen, because it feels like maybe you're going to be out of control. And what's interesting too is that card, if you compare it to the Scorpio card had the inside out, and now Leo on that card is more shining out from them. So in the inside,
I haven't done Scorpio yet, but I did Taurus.
Taurus.
So Taurus, which is part of the story. Yeah.
Right. So there was sort of a difference. There was this inward breaking out.
Yeah.
And then we've got this, well, how are you shining on the outside? Because you can go through life preoccupied with stuff and forget, and you're doing okay on the inside because you're focused, but then you got to remember to shine out on the outside too,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Interesting. We're having fun.
I
love them. Yeah. Well, that visual thing is always, for me, visual signs and synchronicities and reading the universe through vision is the new way. It's following really the fun. Signs, messages. Yeah.
It's really, really fun.
Virgo, third house. So you guys have Scorpio in your third house. Most Virgo are learning to release. Again, this is toxic thinking, patterns, siblings, fights with siblings, conflicts with neighbors or people in your day-to-day, maybe toxic attachments to siblings for security, or toxic communicating. In other words, communicating in ways that are controlling, or negative processing in your head. So because toxic, remember we're Virgo, and Virgo has Pisces over the 7th. So that's kind of a challenging thing, Pisces over the 7th. So they tend to be in relationships with Pisces, and Pisces are, as we know, can be very in the woe is me storytelling. So we've got the Scorpio lunation showing them how they're processing, thinking toxically about the thing that is their true destiny, their true relationship. Because and now we have Taurus. Where is Taurus over Virgo? Where do we have Virgo? Taurus. Let me get Taurus is over their 9th. So travel. But again, it's the micro and the macro of the higher thinking and the lower mind thinking. So there is an eclipse of the lower mind. We're releasing toxic lower minded processing that stops you from potentially seeing a higher vision, a higher reason, a more divine, so there's like a wake up energy for these Virgo, waking up to a more spiritual way of seeing the world, and not it's like this old festering of the way they think, or some sort of belief that is just dying and that needs to be released so they can expand their life and then expand their relationship situation, because Scorpio is a sexual relationship issue too. And joint resources. Now the third house is also businesses, selling. You may suddenly break through and become more confident about running a business now, because because Scorpio in the third house is slightly manipulation. So you're afraid. So there's fear-based through communication and through working, because business, staying busy. So now you're releasing a toxic third house energy, which means working and being more positive about the way you think, and starting a business that is, or being business minded and starting a business with a divine person, or getting onto your true path because you've let go of your toxic processing that keeps you hold back, that scares you.
I feel that for Virgos, like when you said
Do
that,
you?
it's like, oh yeah, yeah. So 2 cards came out, but I feel like there's only one, and I'm gonna do a little intuitive test here with Madelaine and me. So Madelaine, would you say it's the card on my left or my right for Virgos?
Okay.
Which one do you feel? My left or right?
Oh, you're not going to show it to me. You're going to just do it.
Yeah.
I'm going left.
Yeah, that's the one I was leaning towards too. Yes.
Oh, how fun.
And it's the red bird of paradise. And what I find so cool about this card is that you were talking about, these weren't the words you were using, but this card, this flower activates focus, and the message is get it done. And you were talking about that for them in slightly different terms.
Yeah. Well, that is kind of a third house energy. It is focus. Sure.
It magnifies motivation, drive, passion, getting like a get it done attitude with effortless action. So that's the other thing too. I feel like with Virgos, they don't effort like Capricorn's effort, but there's a lot of effort. They want things organized. They want things perfect.
They stay busy.
Yeah. And so there is a lot of that, and it won't feel like such tasks. Because I think sometimes Virgos will do the things and they feel like it's like, oh, but I have to do it. This will feel like just flow and effort, and they'll just get it done. They'll get done.
Well, that sounds like, the sextiles that are opening up, I feel like with those sextiles, whatever we're afraid, whatever comfort zone we've been resisting stepping into, that sextile flows for us. So so maybe maybe they start a business now because they get over the fear of taking the risk. Because if they think about it, the sun there in their 9th house, they now know that if they have faith and belief in something that is true in their heart, they'll be successful. They just need to focus.
So I'm actually going to throw a little a shout out to my daughter, who started an Instagram. I hope she's not upset that I'm sharing this here. She started an Instagram profile called Orderly Thoughts. And she's created these little cartoons that are sharing just thoughts from her mind. And what I find, and I'm going to be sharing them more on my pages as well, because what I love about them is that she takes what often can feel really heavy and hard and things that we all think, and puts them in a playful way where you don't feel quite so alone. And orderly thoughts, that's so Virgo, where you're like, you have everything all set up. And I just feel like it would be a comfort to people, and they find a place where they can share some of their thoughts and be a really good, and I'm going to be chiming in there, offering some insights and some guidance and things like that as well. So for anyone who is
fantastic. When did she start this? When did she start that? Because that is exactly third house stuff. It's the internet. It's a website. I forgot to even add that part. It's all about the internet, websites. You can start a new website that day, get busy, redo your website.
I feel like it was fairly recently. I'm going to look really quickly.
See, that's all about toxic thinking, and she's shifting out of the toxic thinking. So she's redefining thinking. This is exactly what Virgo are doing. They're aware of the thinking and how that is a part of their expansion.
So this was April 1st. So it was a little bit ago, but still pretty.
That was the new moon. That was the new moon Aries.
Yeah. So it's really cool stuff. I'm super proud of her.
Yes, exactly. Good lineup for Virgo. Good story that lines up with that. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So now for Libra. Yeah, you guys have Taurus in your 8th, and you have Scorpio in your 2nd. So you're letting go of a toxic way of earning money. You're letting go of a toxic attachment to a source of income. You're letting go of perhaps toxically always wanting to make an income. Maybe you now have the sun in your 8th house. You see that you can invest in something and support yourself through financial investments. I know Libras that do that. They have Capricorn over their 4th. So they can do very well with property investments and things. So they are now releasing them having to work so hard, because there's something about their destiny because of Pluto and that square with the nodes that is going to redirect them to something that is more in their destiny, and they can let go of an old source of income that is not great for them, or that they're relying on, or that is now something they can release it because they've got another thing coming in. You're going to see a shift in income, source of income. Eclipses in the second house, I've yet to see that not happen for anybody. But again, with these nodes, you're going to step out of the survival. This was a survival choice. So you're going to step out of the survival mode and into a more risky, you're going to start risking something. Second house, you're going to take more of a daredevil approach to your income. You're going to feel more confident because you have faith, because you have the sun in your ninth house. So you sort of have this new faith. And plus you're going to have a lot of planets there. There could be travel. You could go abroad, foreign lands, travel. You might suddenly see that you can work abroad or work and travel and let go of an income that you're leaning on and go travel and start earning money abroad or working travel. But again, there's some sort of shift in faith. There's the fuck it, I gotta live life energy and have a good time, and I don't care if I die of hunger in the way. Like, I'm just gonna have a good time. And also with this new belief, because Jupiter is the ninth house, it's a very lucky house to have the sun in. You're gonna have a lot of planets there. You're gonna have a lot of faith, a lot of belief. You're gonna feel like getting out there in the world and traveling and doing things. You're gonna be confident. You're gonna feel like, let's do this. You're not so held back by your finances. That's a toxic fear. Go ahead. What did you get?
This is so fun.
Oh,
Arctic lupine activates deep peace. The messages, you are supported. Pretty much.
Oh my God.
Everything you were just saying.
That is so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It dissolves worry, anxiety, overwhelm, a heavy heart, and feeling stretched too thin, and magnifies a number of things. But let's just go with effortless strength to face life's challenges. It's like,
that is exactly what we just said. Or
yes,
I was saying. I mean, yeah. I said that. Yeah.
That's what you said.
That is pretty crazy, huh? That is alignment right there. Okay, good.
Total alignment.
Good.
So,
I like it when that works.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun.
Perfection.
Fun.
All right. Scorpio. And now for the Scorpios, they are the star of this eclipse here.
I'm taking a deep breath.
Yeah, I mean, we're really looking at an angular house for you. So we're looking at your lives changing all four aspects. I mean, that's what happens. When you have an eclipse in your first house, you're living. Everything changes. Doesn't necessarily mean you move or change relationship, but something changes that changes the quality or the character of all the four houses. You either move, change job. You could end a relationship, which makes you move, which then also brings you a different job, or you need to change your job, or something shifts in your job. One of these changes can shift all four. Like, you get into a new relationship, they move in with you, and then you start a new project, or you start working together, or so Scorpio are really just coming out, as it were, another layer of toxicity. I personally think that when you come into Scorpio, what I experience when I do chart readings is Scorpio have got, I think you come into Scorpio when you just had a very recent trauma, when your past life trauma, like my big trauma in my soul, I think happened a couple lives ago. I've been working on it for a while, but the Scorpios is fresh, what I call defragmentation. Like, they've been fragmented. Their head and their hearts have been really thrown apart. So they're in survival mode, which was in the head mode, thinking. So now in these eclipses, you're healing that. You're becoming more in union, in inner union, head and heart. In other words, you're aligned, because I see 111. Because if you're in fragmentation, you're acting in response to trauma, not into psychological. You're reacting because of psychological processing to a trauma reaction rather than what's really truly happening. So you have this sort of, it's like an allergy. And like when you have an allergy, you're overreactive to something that it might be a little bit on your body, not good, but you have this mega reaction to it. So Scorpio has these mega emotional reactions, which is triggered because the trauma is still alive. So so you're going, this is the last of a series. So for a while, I think Scorpio are going to be calm. We're really looking at the last layer of this fear-based choice, security, survival based centering to more stepping out into confidence. Now you've got the sun in your 7th house. So you're going to have a lot of planets in your 7th house. So there's new relationships coming in, or new structures occurring with new relationships, or shall we say a new birthing of structures and buildings involved. Or you're rebuilding your life because you've ended a relationship. So you're rebuilding the ground back up to become ready for your next relationship. But you have an illumination on that. You see where you have leaned toxically on your relationship, and where you're now seeing that you can see now where is healthy to rely on the relationship rather than a toxic reliance. So there, it's Leo there. So it's for fun, it's for support, it's for play, it's for a good time, it's for so you're shifting your perspective of the relationship and what it's here for in your life, because that Scorpio thing is wherever these eclipses are activating, it's where you find your salvation, where you don't believe in God, where you're leaning on something that creates toxicity in your life rather than allowing the universe to expand through you. It's like that grip thing that stops the chi force of life.
I absolutely love what you were saying about your interpretation around Scorpio and how they've had a trauma from another lifetime that's fresh. That I've not heard that particular interpretation before, and I feel that there's a lot of resonance with that for me and people that I know, clients as well as friends that have Scorpio in their charts. And you said something else here too, and it does feel like I've noticed this within myself and others, that there will be some small something that happens and there is a visceral, significant response to it. And when I bring my mind into it and I analyze it, or I try to put it in its place, it's like, okay, wait, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would I be reacting so strongly to this little thing? It's because this little thing is connected to this entire history of something trauma that's like I'm dragging behind me. So I don't know if that resonates with anyone, but that feels really, really true for me. I love this flower.
What'd you get? Oh,
it's silk floss, and this activates confidence. And the message is it's time to shine. So for Scorpios who tend to want to hide in the shadows and they don't want to be seen, it's time for you to be seen. It's time for you to step out. You've done the work. You did the heavy lifting during this eclipse season, which was, in October will be 18 months long. You did it. Now reap the reward, reap the benefit.
I love that card because that card really has an independence to it. And I think that's what the message I'm trying to say for the Scorpio is, that they have over attachment to relationships. All water signs do. And then they get triggered so easy that they need to see themselves as the reason they get triggered so easy, because they have such an attachment to the relationship. So their survival is based, you know what I mean? It's over reactivity. But this is having the confidence to stand on your own and be an independent person. And then you get into a relationship from a source of independence, which is why these eclipses have been happening. And then you see what the relationship is really for when you're an independent person in a relationship. I always like to do this little demonstration. So here's the toxic relationship. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Because I can get bigger pens out. Let me get my colorful pens. This is how I do it in my sessions, right? This is how I teach people. So what happens is you have this, what we call relationship alignment. And so what that means is I'm seeking alignment in my life. For feeling alignment is through relationship. I'm seeking alignment. So Libras do this too a lot. So they don't know how to align with themselves and the divine. And then when you learn to not align in relationship, you learn to align with yourself, self-alignment. Instead of seeking, when you're feeling empty and sad in life, instead of seeking a connection, you seek fulfillment with your relationship with yourself and God. And then you become a magnet to your true person, because you are no longer a relationship aligned. You're not seeking relationship alignment. You'll only get into karmic situations, or you'll pull out a toxic situation in your divine situation if you're still in relationship alignment energies. So Scorpios with these eclipses are being forced by the universe to not, because it's seventh and first eclipses, you're learning to not be relationship aligned, but to align with the divine and watch your relationship support.
I love it. And I love your colored pens too. Those are cool.
Yeah. So it makes it clearer on the video. But so that is the transformation that is occurring for Scorpio, which is on the last bit. Can be the hardest bit. It's a plutonic eclipse. You're attached to a relationship or something about your relationship or some expectation or some control idea that is throwing you guys off the path. So you're not on the right path. So you either change your relationship, you get into the relationship that puts you on your true node path, or the relationship itself, you release an expectation or a pressure or something on the relationship so that you can take a flow course rather than a toxic attached idea, because we're breaking through resistance.
And the other thing too, that I'd like to share with anyone out there who this may be you also, is that you may have already done a lot of the work for this. And so now this is just a little refinement,
the last one,
and a little tune up. So don't feel like, oh my God, I've been through all this and now I got more. Not necessarily. So
it just literally, sorry to interrupt you, but is literally the last one, because I'm going through this. I'm ending my marriage on layers and layers, and that marriage took layers and layers and layers, and that's my fifth house, and I'm finally on the last little layer, like it's done, like it's crazy. It took, so yes, like you're saying, sorry to interrupt you, but
but that illustrates the point exactly. It's just, don't feel like if you've already done a lot, like, oh my gosh, there's more, because this is it.
And it's emotionally sad. I mean, there is sadness to letting some of this go,
Relationship endings are tough. And we're actually recording this today on what would have been my 29th wedding anniversary, had my not anymore husband and I remained married. And so it's something you think about it. It's bittersweet. And we weren't meant to be together for this whole lifetime, but there was a lot of love and a lot of joy and amazing kids and grandchild now, and all of that that's in the mix that really are important. And
that's interesting, because you have Scorpio in the fourth, and that again is family, letting go of a toxic family, letting go of family.
I have it in the first.
Oh, you have, okay. But whoever had it in their fourth, who had Scorpio in their fourth? I just remembered Leo.
Well, I have that too.
Oh, so you might be letting go of a passing of a mother too, just so you know, but letting go of a family situation or attack or security through family, letting that go, stepping out, leaving the castle and going into the jungle energy. But sorry, I just had to throw.
And too, with that, I just want to share with folks too, I have a book coming out that talks about my disentanglement from my not anymore husband.
That's
sharing the story, sharing the tools, sharing the strategies. And the book is called We to Me. So going from a we to yourself again. And you don't have to be married or in a relationship to really benefit from some of the tools and the stories that I share.
I really think that's fantastic. That's a great thing, because that is exactly one of the themes that really goes throughout astrology is that exact concept, that thought.
And I'll put a link in the description later, so that folks, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about it and receiving updates as I share more in the coming months, I'll be doing a lot more with it in the next few weeks. You can sign up to receive that info and some freebies and some little strategies and tips if you're in a relationship that might be feeling a little unsettled, or you're not sure what to do, or you're looking to connect back with yourself. So that will be available. Okay.
That's great.
So Sagittarius, which is Madelaine sun sign.
Yeah. So Scorpio in our 12th house. This is a powerful thing. So we're going to have Taurus in our 6th house. So this is an illumination of a healthier day-to-day living. That's great. Actually, I'm happy about that. Focus on the health. I definitely have been focused on my food, eating, health for sure. And this eclipse is in the 12th house. So Sagittarians are doing a lot of work in these eclipses with their soul. I mean, everyone's always working on their soul, but this is a direct relationship to a, shall we say, karmic, fear-based, all around energy, really. I mean, if there's any sort of, I mean, other than it being in your first house, an eclipse in your 12th house, if you have any planets there, could be pretty intense. It could be deep, a deep let go, a deep release of something very, very deep and soulfully, possibly very sad, you know, kind of a thing. But there's a liberation in the soul here in this eclipse. So we're looking at the soul breaking through a deep toxic, all around, you know, soul-based, you know, like I was saying, Scorpio is like a recent trauma with Scorpio. So if Scorpio for Sagittarians is not so recent. It's like, it's kind of like, now we're just clearing out the general overall soul stuff. And if I think about, because I'm only Cancer sun, so it's not my rising, but I can think of people who have Cancer sun, who, by the way, Jupiter, your ruling planet, has been in combustion, is coming out of combustion on this eclipse. So it's like Sagittarius are going to be much more invigorated, feeling alive, really let go of some sort of deep, almost undefinable trauma, almost undefinable reason for fear that they don't even know. And it's just like letting it go, letting something go and just living life on life's terms, you know. And then, but also illuminating a more healthier day-to-day life way of living, more healthy lifestyle. Joie de vivre. That's what I'm looking for. So that would be Sagittarius.
All right. So Sagittarius, we have the pink magnolia, which activates self-care. And the message is take exquisite care of yourself. So 6th house, I'm sorry, so 12th house with the opposite in the 6th, the sun in the 6th, you know, it is like, do take care of yourself, the inside and the outside, the physical and the spiritual, the mental and the emotional, like take care of all of you. Because that's what it feels like to me. It's both pieces.
Yes, that you know, one of the things that we hook up or link in between the 12th and the 6th house is a soul issue, a spiritual reason for the health problem. So it's like for instance, if you're an alcoholic, you know, you quit alcohol, you discover you have a depth of emptiness in your soul. You're super empty. So it's that running away from the emptiness that causes us to escape, because we don't know how to fill that empty. There's like a, shall we say, a frustration. The 6th house is frustrating too. So it's like clearing of that soul thing that causes you to do a day-to-day thing that's not good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that lines up pretty darn well.
That was easy. That was easy peasy. We'll scoop on into Capricorn now.
Yes.
Oh, Scorpio in your 11th house. So the interesting thing about Capricorn with, so they've had Pluto in their first house. They've gone through it. It's challenging, no doubt about it. Soul rattling type of stuff. So now with this eclipse in your, what did I say it was, Scorpio for
11th.
Capricorn? 11th house. So you're really letting go of an old tribe, an old group of people, toxic relationships, toxic friendships that you're holding on to, probably for security, probably for financial, career-based motive type people. Capricorn are very career motivated. And so you're possibly realizing that these are not your true tribe, to let go, but then you become, shall we say, more of a risk taker on social media. You're letting go possibly of a self-consciousness, and you become much more, shall we say, purified on social media. Like there's more of a purified, authentic, real version of you coming out. And you're letting go with that. Oh, we've got sun in your Taurus house. So you're becoming illuminating to potentially a creative project, a much more inspiring creative project really opens up in your life, takes off. You're letting go of one group of friends and a whole new tribe comes in. I'm thinking of a Capricorn rising who I can see a creative project taking off for them, and then being able to, and they're moving and they are most likely going to get involved with a new groups of people. They're meeting a whole new work tribe. What else for Capricorn? Letting go of definitely fear-based, because Pluto rules their 11th house. So they're getting over a toxic self-consciousness or a fear-based or controlling idea as to how they're going to align with some true, real, authentic version of themselves. That's either through that, then they discover their true tribe, or they also discover who they truly are on internet, social media, and they sort of have a transformative version of themselves coming out, like and again, this has been working on with these series of eclipses. They're releasing an identity crisis. Really, it's an identity crisis for Capricorn, because this Pluto going back and forth over their first house. So there was this, the Capricorn is often trying to strategize who they need to be so that they can be successful in their work. Well, now they're becoming who they truly are, and then the work is going to line up and be successful to who they truly are. So they're becoming more of their authentic, true version of themselves, so that they're then going to be more popular based on something that is authentic rather than something that they are toxically holding on to.
I wanted to look to see really quickly.
Sure.
What card came up for Capricorn? Sorry. Bear with me, everyone, for just a second, because I really want to see what card came up for Capricorn last cosmic chat.
Oh, okay. See if it's the same one.
I'm thinking it is. So if anyone out there is watching that is Capricorn and you remember what it is, pop it in the comments so that we can, because the reason I want to look this up is because if it is the same one, it's a reminder to Capricorn. Yes, it is. I just confirmed.
Oh, get out.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So I want to so Capricorns, peony is your flower. Activates magnetism, attracts abundance. So I have Capricorns in my life where this is a huge thing for them. They have such a hard time with this. So I'm going to remind you to recognize that this magnifies abundance, prosperity, and your ability to magnetize it to you. And this could come through what Madelaine was saying in 11th house, magnetizing the right people to you, the right groups. And that can come through social media posts. That can come through going to community events, whatever that is.
The 11th house is super lucky house, by the way. They could, that there isn't a lot of abundance potentially for that 11th house eclipse. It's good money.
Also, it is. I can see this for the two that I'm thinking of, and actually three. So magnifies gratitude, appreciation, contentment. So that's the other thing I noticed with Capricorns is that there are these work hard people they rarely feel content, because they always feel like they need to be doing something and working hard, and be in gratitude for the gifts you have. Feel that sense of contentment at times, just to give yourself a break a little. It magnifies gracefulness, innocence, and elegance. So it just feels like this. Take the pressure off of yourself a little bit. You've just been through a lot with a Pluto rebirthing. It's such a pretty flower.
Talk about a lightening of energies, a more lighter joie de vivre energy, because they have Taurus in the 5th house. So it's like lighten up and enjoy life and let go of that energy of working all the time and making sure you've got enough, that things are always rolling forward, and enjoy life.
It's so and Diane is chiming in saying she knew I was going to pull this again. I didn't know Diane, and when it came up, I'm like, wait a minute, I feel like it. So all right, girl, I hope you're seeing this and taking this message to heart, because it's coming through for you and others.
Yeah, that is the big soul lesson for Capricorn, because they also are responding to a past life trauma of starvation or something. And so they're here to learn. They do have good work ethic. They have no problem working hard, but you can work so hard, you forget to add the flair. You forget the flair, you forget the fun part, the decoration, the pretty part,
Yes.
So
yes. All right. Awesome.
All right. We're having
Aquarius.
fun. Yes, Aquarius, you guys have Taurus in your fourth house. And sorry, we're looking at Scorpio. Whoops. You have Scorpio in your 10th house. So you're letting go. I read for a few Aquarians and I'm telling them your careers, you're letting go. And this has been going on through the whole eclipse. You're going to change careers. You're ruled by the planet Saturn. This is happening in your 10th house of career. We're really letting go of a toxic fear-based attachment to a career or some kind of a career choice that was, or let's just say a preoccupation, fear-based reason for a career that is going to support you, that you think, well, of course, support you, but let's put it this way. It's a good chance you were off alignment on career choice, that you're thinking more pragmatically, more practical, secure based. So now we're having a complete death and rebirth. A lot of like really, really, really wealthy people have Scorpio in the 10th house because they have a death and rebirth transformation. So they go from a fear-based, that's the energy of in Vedic, it actually means the riches, Pluto. So it's like you can become really, really rich when you break through that trauma fear base. Then you experience a flip of abundance of money because you've overcome a trauma lower fear base that's pushing it away. So Aquarius could have this big, oh my God, I haven't been operating. I've been really manipulating my career just so that it's secure and based choice. And I get benefits and career retirement, blah, blah, blah. And instead now you're going, you know what? I don't care. Somehow the universe is going to support me. I'm going to do the career that feels right for me. I want to jump out there. I'm going to be free. And like I think it's Jim Morrison has that, where you're just like, you know what? I don't see how I'm going to make any money being a poetic singer, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then he becomes a millionaire. So a lot of like your performers and people, they have these Scorpio because they say, I'm going to be my real authentic self at whatever cost. I'm going to die for it if I have to. And also you get pushed to that point because you're failing. So you're letting go of something that's failing, that's not working, that you're pushing too hard for, that you're trying to make work. So it's like you're letting this now go and you're going to do you in your career and you're going to say, do or die. And you know what? It works. You do fantastic.
And this is
no way. Yeah.
Pink Lotus.
Uh-huh.
Divine wisdom, look within, which is pretty much in a few short words what you were saying. And this is how they move themselves to the next level. This is how they line themselves up with that career and that pathway to abundance, is through knowing that there's divine wisdom coming into them and then looking within to access it.
Yep.
Being able to know, okay, this is the proper path for me, instead of I'm making this choice because I want to feel secure and safe, or I'm making this choice because that's what I feel like I need to do, versus this is what my heart and my soul are calling for me to do. And that information came from divine wisdom.
Yes, interesting. And that is exactly the Scorpio eclipse, because Scorpio literally means is trusting in the divine, going away from fear. It's a transformation. It's transforming a fear to faith and then you reflect that in your reality. It'll show up. It's pretty interesting, huh?
It is. Yeah.
All righty.
Pisces. Rounding it out with Pisces.
Pisces have Scorpio in, what is it? Because that's 3rd and 9th. So you have Scorpio in your 9th. So Pisces, interesting. Pisces are woe is me storytellers. They're going to have Taurus in their 3rd. So that's good. So the sun is illuminating a small business, communication, or the right way to communicate, or short distance traveling, ideas, business ideas. And then in the Scorpio house, you're going to have a transformation of belief. So this is a similar thing as we did before with the Virgo. So we've got a shift in your belief system to faith. And you're now opening up to potentially travel, or some kind of a new destiny opens up for Pisces in possible travel or culture or creativity or beliefs. Basically, they're having a paradigm shift, a mental paradigm shift into believing in spiritualism and in faith. And this is a big thing for Pisces, because they tend to be a non-believer. You know, the irony is it's the most spiritual sign, and they can be the least spiritual people. It's just like Cancers, or can be the most controlling people. And it's like the opposite of. So basically, Pisces are going to have an awakening to having a layer of faith around something that they're afraid of, that they haven't, a risk around a career or a travel plan or a small business. And they're going to take a risk to, shall we say, have faith and to let go of that inner dialogue of nothing working out or everything being it's having Scorpio in their ninth house is almost like saying they don't believe in God, or they don't believe in, or they have a problem believing in God. They have a problem believing in, we pulled that card before. I think it was for Virgo, the universe has your back. Like they don't believe that. It's like some sort of fundamental thing about, they're the highest dimensional, and yet they have the least faith. It's so weird. And they're ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter, your ruling planet, and Neptune. So your ruling planet is coming out of combustion. It's going to come into a really powerful position. So Pisces are going to be like, yay, I believe. And they're going to go forward and they go, yes, the universe has my back. I'm going to take risks. I believe that we can do this. I believe it will work. And it'll have something around business or day to day, because that's your third house. You could become very busy. You could then become very confident online, because the third house is the email, internet. So you become confident online, and you have faith in yourself. There's this renewed faith in the self, and the faith in your beliefs around what you do. I think that's a great eclipse for Pisces. And then you take the confidence to take your true path and to take the risk to go different. It's going to be different. It's slightly different than what you think. Pisces get locked in on that. They've got Sagittarius over their career house. So they get very locked minded. They think, and when they get out of that thinking and they get into the intuitive knowing and they follow their Jupiter, you follow your Jupiter. Saturn is actually Jupiter is the 7th chakra. Saturn is the 6th, because we're not supposed to be this. We're supposed to be this. We're supposed to be looking at the stars. If you don't follow the stars, you don't follow your Jupiter, you're going to be oppressed by Saturn. You're going to be controlled by Saturn. When you go to Jupiter, you're led by Jupiter. You are in connection with the cosmos. You have a relationship with faith, and you go towards Jupiter, and your life opens up. So I think Pisces are going to see Jupiter now. They're going to go with their ruling planet. They're going to focus on their ruling planet. They're going to make that transformation, which is to have total and utter faith. So I think Pisces are going to have now, whether it lasts their whole life, I don't know, but I think it's going to have an awakening for them to level up in their work situation or in their confidence or what they believe. And it gives them confidence to come out and talk more. They believe in themselves. A lot of Pisces are artists and musicians. They don't believe in themselves. It's one of the things I work really hard on with these musicians and creative types, is that the universe can't exist without your music. We can't exist without your creativity. Life is just, it's not even worth being alive without the Pisces. So the Pisces, they bring all this art and music and sensitivity and the subtleties of life. And it's like, they're so sensitive that they just feel how the universe oppresses it and doesn't want it. So they don't want, or there's some sort of a preconceived notion that it's oppressed in society or something, or they don't believe, because the arts do not feel very supported in society or creative expression. So they got to start believing in that. So
last flower of the zodiac signs. And this flower seemed to connect more with what you were talking about earlier on for Pisces, about a paradigm shift.
Belief
and
shift.
Yeah. And this card is the pomegranate flower. It activates strength, which I feel you need when you're having a whole paradigm shift and everything in your structure of belief and faith is shifting. That requires strength to go through something like that.
Good point.
And the message is detox and re-energize. Again, you're detoxing yourself of these toxic beliefs, these toxic thoughts that haven't served you, that woe is me story on loop that doesn't have any place in your energetics at all.
Oh yeah.
And then re-energizing yourself with a new belief, a new system, a new structure that will really align you with where you are meant to be, where you're destined to go, and who you are, as a creative, or, as someone who has all of this spiritual experience to share. So really.
Yeah. And that's interesting because the Pisces are so sensitive to external stimuli that they almost believe more in the external stimuli truth than their internal truth.
Yes.
What they're intuitively feeling, so they really have to make that flip to go into believing what they intuitively know, and not be so tapped into the external messages, because that's what makes them so kind of woe is me and is not going to work, because they're so sensitive to everything else. So
I love too that we've got the yellow and the orange and a little bit of the red, mostly orangey. I mean, it looks a little red on the camera, but it's really pretty much all orange. And so that to me reveals there's this connection between creativity, the orange, and your power, the yellow. And the core of it is your power. When you're in your power, then you can spread your creativity out into the world. So
yes, I mean, it's a real challenge for Pisces to know how to take that creative, because they're channels. They're channeling the creative brilliance. It's coming from source. So they're the in-betweeners. They have Virgo axis. So they're supposed to bring something channeled from the up, art, ideas, imagination. They bring it down, and they're supposed to be the bridge between that message and turn it into a reality, a practical thing, or music, or something solid. So that card was so kind of like there's that division between the two worlds, and their job is to bring it, but you can't bring it if in your mind space you don't really believe that the world that is coming through you, because you're supposed to bring it into the world. So when you realize, oh, it's coming through me because it's my job to bring it out, and I now believe that what I'm getting, I'm supposed to bring out, you then have that confidence, and then it works because people sense your confidence behind it. So you have a shift in belief that then, puts you out into the world more because you believe in what you have. And that, that's where, sometimes in an eclipse, nothing really happens and you have planets there, but it could just be your belief that changes. And then then you become much more forthright in your social media, because third house is also social media. And Taurus is a money energy. So everybody in your Taurus houses, you're going to see money, good income, money for the next few weeks. We have Jupiter there. We have Mercury's going to go direct there. So we've got abundant energy. We're setting up a new foundation for a more abundant future here. So we're breaking through the limitations that our fears and control and lack of belief has held us back. So this new belief for Pisces is going to put them in something very abundant.
And who doesn't love abundance?
Yeah. Just a belief shift is very abundant, can be very abundant for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like this eclipse season has been and will continue to be for the next couple of weeks really powerful.
I think so, yeah.
And intense. I feel like with the flowers, all of the flowers that we shared today for each one of the signs are going to be a really potent place of remedy, of support, no matter what sign you're in. When I say what sign you're in that you're feeling, because you might feel 1, 2,
stronger,
all 3. Yeah, but wherever you happen to be, tuning into the energy of the flower, whether you purchase an elixir, and I don't get anything for that. This is just something that I do, that I'm sharing with everyone because I use them and I believe in them. And I know that they are incredibly supportive. Or you just take a screenshot of the picture of this, or you imagine it in your mind. Like there's so many ways that you can tune into the spirit of the plant without actually ingesting it. However, Diane was mentioning earlier with the peony, she posted this on her social media earlier too. She created a peony jam, and that was really exciting. No, she made a red bud jam actually, but she heard that you can make jam from the peonies as well, from the flowers. So it's kind of cool. All right. So if anyone's needing some eclipse season support or beyond, whenever you watch this is perfect. You can find Madelaine at the information below, as well as my information below. We're happy to support you with, Madelaine with her astrology and tarot, me with numerous spiritual sciences, astrology being a small part of what I do. Madelaine is the more astrologer extraordinaire. And, soul contract, human design, gene keys are places that I play in. And it's really fun to be able to see who you are through the lenses of these sciences, and then be able to navigate your life and understand dynamics within your relationships with others and yourself. I mean, Madelaine can do synastries and composite charts and all sorts of fun things that really will help you. And I can also do similar connection charts that can help you if there's any relationship dynamics that are feeling a little challenging. Anything else you want to add, Madelaine?
Oh, just I do these spiritual workshops Tuesday night, Zoom. We keep going. There's pretty booked, but there's space. We can always fit people in, but they're going well. We look at people's charts and we pull cards, and it's kind of like a weekly thing, and you stay on top of your transits. So if you're interested in that, go ahead, email me and I will help you set you up.
Nice. Yeah. I have some courses on my website, karmickindness.com. If you click courses, there's some new ones coming up and you can sign up to learn about those. I have one getting started with cards for people who are like, this is really fun. I love what you're doing, but I have no idea where to begin. There's a very affordable course to get you going. I may drop the link in the description below too. And I guess that's it for now. We'll be back here in 2 weeks with the new moon in Gemini, or no, Taurus. Is it Taurus?
Taurus.
It's Taurus. Yeah, because we kind of got a little wonky.
And it's at it's at that end degree of Taurus. So it'll be it'll be a wrap up energy, but it'll be good. Interesting.
Yeah.
Of course.
Good stuff. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you, everybody.
See you here in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Bye for now.
Bye.